Welcome, race fans, and happy Memorial Day. Thank you for tuning in to part 2 of our series with my friend Jimmie McMillian here on Circle City Conversations. In part 2, we talked to Jimmie about the importance of giving time to your community, his community organizations that he likes to support, expanding your network as an attorney, and just being a better person. So enjoy part 2 of our 2-part series.
And as someone, I can tell you, as someone from Florida originally, did not grow up in Indy or in Indiana, I've never seen anything like it.
I wish I was in Florida now. It's a big weekend in Florida. Big weekend in Florida for motorcycle riders. It's Daytona weekend. I got friends down at Daytona having a blast right now.
Dude, my hometown is an hour and a half south of Daytona. The hotels get booked down there.
Oh yeah,
during bike week.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy.
The hotel, everything. But yeah, I'm just watching videos, and I've never been to Daytona. I haven't been to Sturgis. I want to go to Sturgis. That's on my bucket list too. Right.
I saw an old picture of Daytona. They used to race on the beach.
Yeah,
they used to race on the beach.
That's how NASCAR started.
Yeah, running moonshine, dude. Yeah. Oh, moonshine. That'll kill you right there. It's like drinking gasoline.
Oh, yeah. Not if you go to Gatlinburg. It's all flavored moonshine. Take you to Gatlinburg.
Right. The track conference.
Yeah.
Tell me, you were the chair of that. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Still on the committee. It's the Racing Attorneys Conference. It will be in Austin, Texas in April, I believe 9th and 10th are our dates. It is a conference dedicated to the racing industry. And so we have not only attorneys, but we have track owners and others who come, and we cover, all the topics that come up that are new in law. It was actually one of the pathways that got me here. Really? When I was at Barnes, I got involved in the track conference before I even had racing attorney clients. Another piece of advice that I give folks is if you have a passion for something, there is probably a conference that is created for it. Get involved in that conference, start going, gives you a chance to shake hands, meet people, develop relationships, and track did that for me. Yeah,
absolutely. The Indianapolis Bar Association, you're the past president, right?
Yeah.
And you work with a lot of young lawyers. Some of them are listening right now. What would you tell them that the Bar Association can do for them in their career?
Build your career and build your brand very quickly. It is an essential part of your career as a lawyer if you want to go anywhere and do anything from a legal community standpoint. The people that you want to meet, the people that you need to know, the just in case what you're doing now, you want to do something else. They're at the Bar Association. They're on the board. They're at the dinners. They're at the breakfasts. And those emails that you get that you may be ignoring, you should open them. There is a price point for everybody. You have certain activities. There's some stuff that you might be, there's scholarships that are available. It is led by an amazing, and I truly mean amazing leader, and Julie Armstrong and the staff there are phenomenal. And that organization is built to be the greatest bar association in the country. And I'm not exaggerating. They are award-winning in terms of their execution of what we all as members of the bar need for the development. So you got the Bar Leader Series, which is great at giving us our own kind of knighthood of people who are going to be leaders in the bar. If you start learning about community development, these leadership series are all rites of passage. So Stanley K. Lacey Leadership Series, which I think is kind of the knighthood for the city of Indianapolis. One of the things that they look at is, have you been knighted by your bar association to be a leader in the legal community before you get to SKL? 40 under 40, all of those little pathways come through there. And the things that you learn in leadership in the bar are going to help you in business. They're going to help you from a community development standpoint. They're going to give you pathways either from the Bar Association or the Bar Foundation side to truly grow beyond what you learned in law school. Right. Again, I think leadership is the intangible quality that most employers want. It's one thing for you to know how to do your job. It's another thing for a leader, for the director of an organization, the owner of an organization, say, I can go on vacation. And while I'm on vacation, things are going to run as good or better than if I was in the office. That's the thing that's worth a lot of money. At the end of the day, that's what every owner wants, is the person who can not only do the job, but can teach and train and recruit and motivate and lead others to do the job when they're not there. And that's what Bar Association helps you learn how to do and demonstrate, is that I have leadership ability.
Yeah. And as the owner of my firm, you know, being able to go on vacation and take, you know, I got 4 little kids, you know, being able to take everyone and not have to worry about, you know, is this person's computer set down, the system down, CRM, you know, all of that stuff. It really is priceless, because you can focus on your family, man. That's really what to me, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Family. You know?
And for that person who has that ability, you're priceless in that you're literally planting seeds for growth.
Yeah.
Throughout that office or throughout that entity, that, you know, to use the allegory, they're growing into flowers.
Yep.
Everybody's not doing that. Some people are literally weed killers in their office. Mm-hmm. They're literally running around and they're driving people off. They're great. They might be great lawyers, but they're horrible people in terms of management, in terms of collecting on their bills, in terms of relationships with their clients, or relationships with staff. And you got to, if anybody who has to spend all of their time dealing with those issues, as opposed to spending their time walking in and saying, man, you know what I heard yesterday? I walked in the office and the secretary told me you just like said something or did something that totally brightened their day or whatever. That's what you want to hear when you're a boss. Right. Is that there are other people treating this organization as if they're the boss in a respectful way, but they've got the mentality of coming in with a positive attitude, of coming in, trying to uplift somebody, encourage somebody. That's what draws people to you. And the Bar Association, in my opinion, is full of people like that. That if you just are around them, you can kind of see not just how to practice law, but how to be a leader and treat others. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the community organizations that you support. You're a community activist here in Indianapolis. And so some of these are the United Way of Central Indiana, the A Miracle Ride, the Marion County Public Defender Agency, for a guy that doesn't care for litigation, huh?
Yeah.
Do some work with them.
But I love my public defenders. I love all of our staff. I've been the chair of the Marion County Public Defender Agency now for over 18 years.
Wow.
Was on the board when we hired my appeal, and I'm on the board now as we look for our new public defender. But the work we do I think is extremely important.
Oh yeah.
Defending the rights of those who are accused, and our team and our staff and our lawyers and our administrator, we're an extremely large law firm.
You know, I did that for 2 years.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that for a couple of years. I'll tell you what, the best trial lawyers in the state of Indiana. Absolutely. I think, you know.
Absolutely.
So
grateful for their work.
Right. One of the organizations I mentioned that I saw you post about them, and so I did some work with them last year, was the Indianapolis Urban League. Yes. I want to talk a little bit more about that, because some people don't know about that organization. Tell me a little bit more about them.
So the Indianapolis Urban League is part of a broader national urban league. Yeah. And their goal and focus is really work development, getting people to work, developing opportunities for people to engage in different work opportunities as a pathway out of poverty and a pathway to success. So they have all sorts of programs. For example, one of them is helping people get their CDL, getting people ready to work, working on some of those basic job skills, those basic social skills, and then connecting them with programs to help them, for example, get into the trades, get into HVAC, get into electrical. But it's a holistic viewpoint of how do we create pathways to education and then ultimately create pathways to work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mentioned earlier, you are an award-winning lawyer, and I can't even mention all these, Jimmie. I mean, seriously, dude. But we were talking a little bit about how, you know, people of color, you know, they look up and they see, you know, that people that don't look like them are winning awards. But I really want to emphasize this. You were the Barnes Thornburg Pro Bono Attorney of the Year. Yeah. You won the Carl L. Darden Leadership Award. 20 up-and-coming lawyers, top 40 under 40, which, by the way, they don't give that to plaintiffs' lawyers. Why? I know why. They don't give it to us ambulance chasers, you know? So, not...
Be a commercial.
If you want to be top 40 under 40. Yeah, right? That Nod to Professionalism Award, Rab Emerson Award, Diversity in Practice Award, Bicentennial Medal, Distinguished Alumni Award, Maynard K. Hine Medal, Dr. Charlie Nelms Alumni Award, and whipped cream and a cherry on top, my friend. That's a lot of stuff, you know?
Yeah. And I'm still, the award the award I'm working for the hardest is to be the best father,
Of course.
in the world and the best husband in the world. That is the one the awards that I stress the most about every day.
Yeah.
Having been divorced twice, it's not a given.
Right. Right. You got to work hard.
I don't think it's an award every day. So I work extremely hard on those 2 awards, and then having a father I had. I don't take it as a given that you're going to be the best dad in the world. And so those are the awards that mean the most to me. I appreciate all the awards that I've received. The other awards that matter to me is when somebody calls me and says, I got the job. Or
that's great.
Or that this situation that I thought was the end of days, after talking to you about it, it all worked out. Those are, not plaques, but those are the ones that stick with me and mean the most to me is those life-changing awards when people were like ready to give up.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, I've had a friend kill himself every year in the last 5 years, arguing with their spouse and shooting themselves or killing themselves in some way or shape or form. And people are really lonely and isolated.
Yeah.
Like, even if you see them, you don't really know the demons that people are battling with. And it's hard being a good person and trying to just do things the right way. Everything's getting more expensive and higher, and you're trying to figure it out. And, people are, in some ways, as much as social media is great, the pressure of social media and feeling like everybody has more than me.
Right.
It's getting this. Like, it's just visually thrown in your face all the time of the world. And it's really hard to conceptualize that, to work through what's real and what's not.
Right.
Are you really failing? No. Is the world really crumbling? Are you really at the bottom of the pile? No. Is the world over and you should give up? No. But it's really hard for people to get that. And so I try to proactively reach out to folks that I know are going through something. If you're a new lawyer, I know you're going through something. If you're a lawyer of color, chances are you're going through something. Mm-hmm. And I will proactively reach out and say, hey, man, let's have breakfast. Let's have lunch, man. I just want to check in. I just want to break bread with you. What's going on? And I can't tell you how many times when I met that person and said that, they were smiling and laughing. But during that lunch, they broke down crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they had no other safe space to say, man, this is driving me crazy.
Yeah.
My hours are short. I don't have hours. If I lose this job, I don't know what my next is. For some reason, my marriage is failing. And I got all the money that I thought I need to make it work. And for some reason, I'm miserable.
Yep.
I messed this case up, or I messed this project up, or I missed this deadline. This is it. It's over. That's the award you want. If you take that person from that and say, it's going to be good, it's going to be okay. It's going to work out. I got a program tonight. It's called Brothers-in-Law and Sisters-in-Law. I created from charting your own course, and my mentor, Warden Bellamy, I learned that the relationships we develop, particularly as lawyers, are probably the most valuable currency we have. And they helped me, though the lawyers that were in that program helped me when I went through one of the toughest times of my life, which was my divorce from the mother of my kids. They flew in from all over the country every week saying, we can't let you fall because you're too important. Man, these are grown Black men with a whole lot of other things to do who came here and said, look, we've been through divorce. Yeah. Coach me through. You need to focus on your kids. Pay the money. Get it over with. I was done in 60 days. Moved on. Me and my ex-wife, we have a phenomenal relationship because of that mentorship I got. I didn't go through this long, protracted battle and whatever. I now, through this Brothers-in-Law group, I created in Indianapolis that I now manage with a brother, Finest Tato. We bring together people, men in law, men of color, periodically, once every 2-3 months. No fee, no anything. Just come. We're going to introduce everybody. We're going to connect everybody. We're going to encourage people to share. If you got something on your chest, something going on, pull one of us aside, let's house. We're going to actually have the brothers and sisters-in-law together tonight at Memories at 6 o'clock. But just the importance of that. Bar Association is great. Yep. And they have a function, and they serve a function. Marion County Bar, Indiana State Bar, Indianapolis Bar, all wonderful. But sometimes you just need to be in the room in a safe place and space to be able to sit down and chop it up with somebody. And maybe that catches, right? And that's what the Brothers-in-Law, Sisters-in-Law is about. It's about that simple concept. Yeah. We just here. You got people who come into this community, as you know. We are a very transitory community for professionals. People will be here for a couple of months, couple of years, and before you know it, what happened to that? Yeah. They move.
Yep.
Right? Many times we find out they moved because they never felt settled. But what you don't realize is when you have a community like that, they take all of the wisdom, wealth, energy, development that has been poured into them, and they take it and they go somewhere else, and the community suffers, right? Community suffers because that person was a superstar and could have opened doors, could have become, a person that created jobs, could have been a person who had impact on legislation, could have went to the state house. But because we didn't manage them and develop them, they took that and moved to Dallas. Yeah. They took that and moved to Atlanta. They moved and took everything that would have been great for us gone. So I'm all about how do we retain that when we can. Yeah.
Indiana's really suffering from brain drain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big, big problem, especially like you said, between amongst ethnic minorities, and people of color, because it is a very conservative, traditional place. And when you see a place like Houston, for example, where that you're going to go there, you're going to see a lot of people that look like you. You're going to be able to work with a lot of people that look like you. And hell, it's warmer, right?
Yeah. and you undervalue culture. Yeah. One of the things that we're working on here as a track was, well, what do we need to do? Well, we've got to diversify the music. I mean, we can't play country music all day. No, you can't. No. Let me see the playlist.
Right.
And I look at the playlist that comes out, and let's make sure that we are playing a diverse genre of music that appeals to everybody who comes here. And believe it or not, everybody's going to appreciate it. You don't have to play country the entire time and prove that this is America.
Right.
Right. Somehow, some way, these other genres of music win awards too.
Yeah.
Bilingual signage. Louisa Mesa in our office fought extremely hard to get bilingual signage. There were people who didn't want it, who said, I don't necessarily want to come to America's racetrack and see signs that are in Spanish. And why does that hurt you so bad?
Yeah.
Why do you get so upset about that? Like, I still don't understand why that makes bilingual signage make people so mad when every other country in the world is expected to know English.
Yeah, exactly.
To accommodate us when we just go visit there and travel.
Right.
And so, it's those pieces that make people want to leave.
Yeah.
Because to some folks, it's obvious that as you want me here, you build cultural institutions, museums, art, festivals. You build pieces of the puzzle that make me feel included, dare I say, to make me feel valued, not just as a person that can perform a particular service,
right?
But there's a person who enjoys a certain kind of food. There's a person who has a certain heritage and history in my own, of people who I deem as history is heroes, and I want to see celebrate.
Yeah.
As someone who has children, who I don't want them to feel like they have to abandon their cultural heritage to be accepted and to be successful in this city and in this state.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Jimmie. Yeah. All right. Jimmie, you have a nickname, Tic Tac.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Very, very simple. I'm named after my father. I'm Jimmie L. McMillian Jr. And I kind of told you what happened with that. When I pledged my fraternity, I had to have 9 packs of Tic Tacs every day. And so I got the nickname Tic Tac and took that on and have carried it through. And it's been one of those things that I use when I talk to kids and say, Barnes at one point in time probably would have put it on my business card. You do great work. It doesn't matter what your name is. It matters who you are and who you are as a person and the work you do. And so that's my inspirational point for kids. It's also inspiration for myself that I became my own self and I wasn't bound by who my father was.
Right.
I think a lot of people, it's amazing how many people, including some of my cousins, who it's a crazy concept, like for some people to accept. I work with a program, I think you know about Erica Sanders at USU. It helps dads who are in jail. Yep. And one of their biggest fears is what I'm about to tell you. There are people who, for whatever reason, if you grow up with a crazy father who did crazy stuff, for whatever reason, you feel bound to do the same, even though it might be wrong.
Right.
My dad was in a gang, I'm in a gang. Even though your dad may be preaching against you joining the gang, you want to be like your dad. My father was abusive. My father used to beat up on my mom. I hated it. But somehow, some way, all of that, the traits of anger and not knowing how to deal with problems and curses seep into you as the son. And people be like, you just like your dad. It's an amazing thing.
Right.
And by going by the nickname Tic Tac, believe it or not, it gave me the separation I needed to say, my father went to 15 different colleges and never graduated. So when I flunked out, it was, you're just like your dad. My grandfather shot my father in front of me. So like there was a pattern that was steadily developing that I could have been that. It's why I'm so humbled by this opportunity.
Right.
To be here and have this and be blessed to be here. So it wasn't supposed to be that way. But I have a ton of examples of people who literally followed the same path and pattern of their father.
Yeah. Yeah. So we mentioned earlier that you're the president of 317 Ryders Motorcycle Club.
Yep.
Okay. Fair to say you like to go fast?
I love to go far and fast, safely.
Safely. There you go.
Massive rides. Just this past Sunday, we took 70 bikes to Nashville safely. Got them there and back. I led 70 bikes.
Wow. So I represent a lot of motorcycle riders.
Oh boy.
Because of what I do.
See why people don't like plaintiff's lawyers.
Yeah.
This is why. Get ready for it.
So let's talk a little bit, even though I will say,
you're ready for it.
I'll tell you what, man, I tried to ride one once, but I don't get the shifting. The whole put your foot down, then you get underneath, when you want to try to shift. Almost, I was down in Florida, in my hometown, almost wrapped myself around a palm tree in first gear. You got to take
take the evasive Indiana class. It's 3 days. They give you the bike, they give you the helmet, they give you the gear, and they teach you from a really little bitty bike.
Really?
125. They teach you how to ride. They teach you how to ride in 3 days. Then call me, and I will ride with you and show you how to ride.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about motorcycle safety. Have you ever heard? In my world, the insurance companies like to call it the motorcycle discount. You ever heard of that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So when the insurance companies like to devalue cases, just because of the fact that you got on the motorcycle.
Motorcycles aren't as dangerous as everybody says they are.
Yeah. And
more fun than I could put into words. I have had lost friends on bikes. I've had people die while they were riding with me. I've been in an accident. Everybody around me rides. I worry about them. But you also can die riding a bicycle.
Correct.
I've had colleagues in the legal community who got hit on the Monon and died. I've had, it's a crazy hobby.
Yeah. So what piece of advice would you give to a young rider? Top 3 things to consider as a young motorcyclist.
Wear your helmet. First thing that came to mind. Okay. Ride like you're going to have an accident that day. And that means not just from a gear perspective, but from a mental perspective. Assume that somebody's not going to see you.
Yeah.
3 would be have your affairs in order. Be respectful of your family. If it's something that you're going to do as a lifestyle, you need to get insurance. You need to get life insurance. You need to make sure that if something happens, that the people that you leave behind are taken care of. Right. Yeah. It's a selfish hobby to do, to not think that something is never going to happen.
Right.
Right. So you pray every time you get on that bike, pray for yourself and everybody you're riding with, but you need to be prepared. And I probably add, then the 4th thing would be enjoying. A lot of people buy bikes, they get scared, they get off of them, and they sell them before they really get a chance to enjoy it. Motorcycles at first glance for me is about going places and experiencing them in a way that you can't do it in a car. I've gone places in the state, in this country. I've rode to Key West.
Wow.
4 times. I rode to New Orleans. I rode to Biloxi multiple times. I rode from here to California, as you know, for United Way.
Yeah.
Raised $90,000 riding to Sonoma 4 days.
Yeah.
Denver, rode through the desert of Las Vegas, Utah, rode to the Salt Flats, rode up to Carabana, Toronto. All of those places I would not have gone in a car. And every mile of that, it's smelling
right
the smells of whatever was going on, good or bad. It's feeling either the rain or the cold. All your senses are alive. And it's also, if you're riding with somebody, the bond that comes from like the birds, knowing how they're going to move. It's a very physical, riding a motorcycle is a physical act where you're leaning into the turns. You're pseudo protecting the other person, trying to make sure there's not gaps. You takes your mind off of so many things because you're thinking about, I don't want to die, right? So you're really concentrating on all of that. It's the feel of the road, knowing the difference between how it feels to ride in Louisiana versus how it feels to ride in Michigan versus how it feels to ride in Florida versus how it feels to ride in Vegas. All of that comes into you, enjoying it. It's riding to the ocean. saying, man, I did it.
Yeah.
Or sitting in downtown Chicago with a crew and everybody riding by looking at you thinking you're the coolest thing ever. Enjoy those times.
Yeah. Some people think that they hear the term, motorcycle club, they're thinking Hell's Angels motorcycle gang, What is it really like? Because I know you guys do charity work. Yeah. You guys do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, motorcycles are very expensive. and most of the people who have them have really good jobs and work really, really hard to maintain them. You go out and buy a Harley Davidson Road Glide CVO, 40 grand.
Wow.
$40,000 off the showroom floor. And that's without anything being done to it. So you're not talking about, they might be dressed like they're, evil villains in a Born Free movie, but they're not. They're actually the guy that's working down the hall from you in IT, or, the lawyer or the doctor. Most of our club, we're 40% women. Most of the people who purchase motorcycles today, the large majority of people who purchase motorcycles today are women.
Women?
Our club is 45% women, and they all ride their own motorcycles. We do a tremendous amount of charity. There's charity rides all day, every week here. Lots of stuff with kids, lots of stuff with the first, people that answer the call and say, we're going to show up to some park or church or activity. And they're just people who picked this hobby and said, I want to do it. Now, are there outlaw motorcycle people? Yes, just like everything else in life. But even some of them are big huddle. The mentality of a motorcycle rider is a little crazy, right? You got to be a little crazy to say, I'm going to get on two wheels with no protection and ride next to semi trucks and ride across country with nothing to protect me from the elements other than the jacket I got on. But that same craziness is like the pioneering spirit of America. When you ride, you feel like those same pioneers that rode horses across and discovered new area. And that's what riding is about. I've been saying, I don't care where we ride together as long as we ride together. Mm-hmm. And that's the mentality is I want to go somewhere somebody told me about. And said, like Torch Lake right now. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Torch Lake, Michigan. That's on my bucket list. The place is only 4.5 miles away. And I rode all over the country. All my friends know I want to go to Torch Lake, and I don't know why I can't get there. There's only a certain time of year you can get there. But the special thing about Torch Lake is the clearest lake. Wow. It's supposed to be the clearest lake in the United States. It's the one place you can go to, and on the 4th of July, it looks like the Caribbean. And it's in Michigan. It's like some kind of special mix. Yeah. How the water from Michigan mixes with the lake. It makes it like the Caribbean. Stuff like that. Like, who wants to go to Torch Lake? I do. Yeah. The Ozarks. Want to ride to the Ozarks. Haven't done that yet. I will. It's stuff like that that makes motorcycle riding. You get on there with your friends and you stop at restaurants that, why would you stop at this restaurant? Well, now I've done some research and they say this restaurant. And then there's this place called the Tail of the Dragon that I've been to now, done the Tail of the Dragon now 28 times. 318 turns and 11 miles in Gatlinburg in North Carolina. Wow. It is the best motorcycle road in America, and some people have never done it. Riding to Key West. Some people may have flew to Key West. Yeah. Tried riding across the 7-mile bridge, the 8-mile bridge. Oh, yeah. Ocean water. That's awesome. All of that in, Yeah. Those are the things that are great. Going to Miami and sitting on the back of your bike on Ocean Drive. Yep. I see many a spouse get into an argument where some spouse looks over at their wife or looks over at their husband and says, I always wanted a bike. And that conversation go really bad. That's great. I will. It wasn't on a bike, but we flew down to Fort Lauderdale. My wife and I rented a convertible and drove down to Key West. And it was just a beautiful drive. Oh, yeah. I mean, just to have the wind blowing in your hair, what little bit of hair I got left, I've done it twice. I've done it twice on the 4th of July where when I was coming back, fireworks. Oh, man. That's awesome. One thing I recently learned, my neighbor at the lake, he rides, and we had a conversation about grass clippings on the road. I never knew how those can affect motorcyclists. Tell me more, please. It's a very controversial thing. Yeah. I, knock on wood, know how to ride around the grass clippings. Yeah. There are motorcyclists who will get extremely angry about people who blow grass on the road. Yeah. People would take them down instantly by hitting the grass. My personal opinion is gravel is a lot more dangerous. Really? Oil is super dangerous. And so bridges, I know people who can't go on the bridges safely to save their life. But yeah, grass clippings, I think, is one of those that I won't say it's overblown, but I think those of us know how to ride, see the grass, and we weave over and we go around the grass and we continue down the road. There are a lot more dangerous things that worry me about riding. One of them is phones.
Yeah.
Phone.
Not paying attention.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. If somebody on the cell phone and they'll look up to see. Mm-hmm. Autonomous vehicles, there's a legitimate fear that autonomous vehicles, the push from a commercial sector to get autonomous vehicles may lead to laws banning motorcycles.
Oh,
because if they can't get the technology to get to a point that it can react to a motorcycle rider, then there's a chance where the commercial interest to have those may get to a point where they somehow limit motorcycles. So a lot of your motorcycle safety organizations are really concerned about that, getting to that point one day.
Yeah.
And certainly, the type of bikes that are coming out now, the speeds that they could do. I have one that could do 186 miles an hour.
Oh, geez.
My wife's bike does about 170. You got to have common sense,
right?
Just because the bike will do it or the car will do it, that means you should.
Yeah, right.
It comes at you.
Yeah, dude. I tell my kids that all the time, right? Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it, right?
You will definitely.
Or you went over the handlebars.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, Jimmie, you look great, man. You've been doing a lot of working out lately, and so I'm trying. Yeah, no, I mean you do. You look great, and so you're always posting. You're very motivated. I'm starting to get back into it myself, and finding the motivation, really is hard. And I blame my kids because there's 4 of them under 10. And there's a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old, but I know that's a bullshit excuse, So how do you stay motivated to just get back in there, get back in the gym every morning?
Superhero outfit.
Yeah.
I got into this thing. I went on Amazon and started ordering these superhero outfits that I really like. And that was kind of started a couple of years ago. Really, the start was Mark Bob, my CEO, did keto and lost a lot of weight. And I walked into a room one day and was like, man, what did you do? And he told me about keto and giving up bread. And then my wife and I tried it and we lost like 60, 70 pounds in 6 months. It really does work, giving up bread, giving up sugar. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
But if you do it right, you will drop.
Really?
Without going to the gym, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And then it's just realizing that I feel better going to the gym. I got my finest Tato, who's a lawyer here in town. The two of us, every morning we send each other a message saying, hey, I'm headed to the gym. And we work out together.
Really?
And that started a year ago. But it's like, I love going to the gym in the morning and getting it, feeling like I'm doing something. I may eat like crap that day, but I know I did something. I made it to the gym. And it's a weight, as you get older, you're just trying to find ways to lift stress off and say, I'm making some progress.
Yeah.
Going to the gym every morning, posting that picture, doing that 35 minutes or doing that hour, knocking off 600, 700 calories, lifting real quick. All right, cool. I tried.
Yeah.
That's what's in my mind.
Yeah.
Now I may get to work and they got donuts all over here. They got cupcakes. They trying to kill us 1 gram of sugar at a time. But if I get that good start, I'm moving. And then I start seeing my sons. My sons start saying they want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
They started saying, hey, Daddy, can we go to the gym together? That's when I realized this is like super important for them to see me every morning. Like whether they go with me or not, it's trying to plant good habits.
Yeah.
And what they see you do, whether you realize it or not, they're taking all that in.
Yeah.
And now my son, my bigger son, who's 6 feet tall, we found out he has high blood pressure. He's had it for a long time. And I'm like freaking out, like, medicine, because I'm on blood pressure medicine.
Me too. Me too.
Keep him from dying. They're like, no, it's diet and exercise.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's like saying, like, that's like giving him a death sentence. I mean, exercise is weird. They're like, no, he's young. He's not like you.
Yeah.
See him. He's not eating bread. Giving up to Sprite, all of that. Trying to emulate what he sees me do.
Yeah.
That's the motivation.
Great. That's great, man. So I see you posting pictures of playing basketball with your kids. What's your favorite sport to watch?
Oh, man, my favorite sport to watch, that's hard because it depends on the day.
Yeah.
I'd probably say right now it's racing.
Racing, yeah.
Because I look at it from a totally different commercial contracts perspective.
Right.
I see like Rolex. Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Walmart.
Yeah.
I just see all the signage. But I love watching racing. and watching races, especially motorcycle racing.
Yeah.
Football, watch a lot of football, basketball, take a lot of basketball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned superheroes. You are kind of like a superhero yourself and an inspiration to a lot of people. So who, of all the superheroes, who's your favorite? I'm looking at quite a collection over there.
Yeah. That's a good
Who's your favorite one?
That's a good question too. Probably Superman.
Superman?
Yeah. That's probably my favorite just because he seems to be so universal in everything he do. And it's really, when I think about tough times, I think about Superman 2.
Yeah.
And if you remember in Superman 2, he gives up all his powers, right? He walks into the ice chamber and take all his powers, and he goes to that bar, you may remember, and he gets into the fight with the guy at the bar.
Yeah.
And he gets his ass kicked.
Yep.
He's bleeding all over the table, and Lois Lane is there, like, helping him out. And I think about that all the time in terms of, what are you going to do when all your powers get taken away?
Yeah.
How do you react? How do you respond? And how do you get those powers back?
Yeah.
Right. And so, being a superhero is about failure to me. We learn every superhero story I know of is about when that superhero failed in some way. They didn't win the fight. They got beat, and them coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the whole superhero thing for me in total, why I wear the outfits and everything. It's not about, hey, I'm great. It's about, hey, I failed and I'm still here fighting. Every morning I wake up, I drive my wife crazy. I'm sitting on the edge of the bed and I'm like, I got to fight. Can't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit.
I love that. That's great, man.
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
Fighting until you're not able to do no more, but keep fighting.
Yeah.
And that's the motivation, because you think everybody's doing that, but there's a lot of people I know who've given up and they mailed it in.
Yep.
And they're just like, whatever happens, happens. And you got to keep being motivated to fight. Go to the gym. Keep worrying about your health.
Yep.
People who don't take their blood pressure medicine. I'm not taking medicine. Whatever happens to me, happen. People who just say, I'm going ahead and smoke.
Yep.
Or, they giving up on their kids, or they giving up on their wife, or they giving up on their marriage, or they giving up on their job. And it says, don't give up.
Yeah.
Keep fighting, keep digging, keep pushing. And then one day you riding on your bike and you looking in the rearview mirror and there's 70 motorcycles behind you on the most beautiful day ever.
That's great.
And you're like, it was worth the fight.
I love that,
worth
man.
the fight.
Yeah.
But if you give up, you never get there.
Right.
And you end up locked up.
Right. That's what it's the old Finding Nemo thing, just keep swimming. I tell my kids all the time, just keep going, guys, just keep going, because life's not easy. All right. And you're going to hit bumps and you're going to get obstacles and hurdles, and you just got to keep going.
Yeah. That's how I got here.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, like I said, I went to that table so many times with Kenny and said, I'm quitting. I don't have a plan. I don't have another job. I just know I don't like it here and I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And, he motivated me to just keep going. And, I have no clue what God has in store for me tomorrow. I have a plan. I have a strategic plan and things that I have planned professionally. But I know the one thing that he does have planned, he doesn't plan for me to quit. He doesn't plan for me to quit.
So let's talk about that. Just a couple more questions. What's next for Jimmie McMillian?
Well, obviously tonight is to help some people, which is usually on my schedule every day. Continuing to try to do, again, best husband in the world, best father in the world, best son in the world, and then best lawyer in the world, best DEI officer in the world, trying to be great at everything I do. Try to spread love.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You probably have read some of my posts where I say, hey, I want you guys to show up today so I can hug you and show you I love you. It's strange, but as a man, when I first started tackling that, I worried, like, how are people going to take that?
Right.
As a man, I'm saying,
yeah.
And then I realized, how could it be wrong to tell somebody, even a man, to tell another man I love you? And I lost friends. I lost the president of our club died of COVID. He died in 5 days. I was his vice president for 7 years, Juan DJ Will Powell. And I didn't get a chance to say, we used to say I love you on the phone all the time, but he died so quick. I had a friend named Rob Miles in Chicago. He died in March of COVID, died in like 3 days when they didn't know what COVID was. And it really touched me that I'm here. What's next is just like loving on people while they're here. Why? because one day I'm not going to be here. And I really and truly want people in this community, my kids stay here, to run into my sons, or if they see my sons and say, your dad, Jimmie McMillian,
Yeah.
man, I knew your father, man. Your father helped everybody. And if they need something, doing something to really plant in them, that spirit of love.
Yeah.
And so with that, from a career-wise standpoint, I feel like I'm going to be driven to where I should be. I hope to have a career in motorsports. I hope to have a career in business in motorsports in this community and entertainment. That's my plan. Hopefully here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but if not, wherever God takes me. But beyond that, more deeper than I hope I help a lot of people.
Yeah.
I hope there are a lot of people who say, my life is better because I met Jimmie McMillian. I worked through whatever I worked through at the point of my life because I sat down, I got help by Jimmie McMillian.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you my life is better after knowing you. So Jimmie, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you?
Oh, it's easy to find me. Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Hit me up, jmcmillian@britchyard.com. Hit my cell. It's not hard to find me, believe me. But I'm always accessible, available, and reach out. And Alex, my life has been better for knowing you, and thank you for doing this, and thank you for always being such a valuable asset to the community, a valuable asset to the bar, and valuable asset to your clients, despite what people. We need plaintiffs' lawyers.
Yep.
Because people need to be protected, and people need to know what their options are. And there are some folks who are really taking advantage of it. Particularly in real estate. I do a lot of nonprofit. I do a lot of pro bono, not pro bono. Yeah, I do a lot of pro bono work for people who just small real estate issues.
Yeah,
where people are being forced to live in really appalling conditions, or being, especially even recently with the All-Star game that came up. You can't believe the number of people who were forced out of their apartments under sketchy things because people wanted them out so that they could use their spots for Airbnbs. I mean, just stuff like that. And lawyers who do that work and defend those people are important. So,
yeah.
Thank you for all that you do.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. And thanks everyone for listening to Circle City Conversations podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more future conversations.